Good evening. Welcome to our Northern Palm Beach County virtual town hall meeting. My name is Camille Long. I'm the North Regional Superintendent for the Palm Beach County School District, and I would like to also welcome our school board member, Barbara McQuinn, and school board member, Dr. Deborah Robinson. And at this time, I'll turn over to Mrs. McQuinn.
I just want to thank all of you for joining us. I know the parents in my neighborhood have sent in their responses to the superintendent's request for your input into how we open schools. And so for those of you joining us tonight, the more input we can get, the better decisions that the superintendent and his staff can make. So good evening, everyone.
And at this time, thank you, Mrs. McQuinn. Dr. Robinson, would you like to provide greetings?
Yes, thank you. I'm Dr. Deborah Robinson, a school board member representing District 7. Looking forward to the input from the community. We have some tough decisions ahead, and so your input is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to welcome everyone to our Northern Palm Beach County virtual town hall meeting. This is an opportunity for the cities of Palm Beach Gardens, Lake Park, North Palm Beach, and Jupiter to provide input to hear some of the things that have been happening since school has been closed. I would like to welcome the mayor of Palm Beach Gardens, the mayor of Lake Park, the mayor of North Palm Beach, and the mayor of Jupiter. I'm aware that some of their staff members have joined us tonight, and I would like to thank them for being a part of tonight's virtual town hall. In addition to those individuals on the call, we also have some of our Palm Beach County School District regional staff members. I would like to welcome Dr. Joseph Lee, who is our high school instructional superintendent, Maria Bishop, who works with our elementary schools in the Northern Palm Beach area, and Robin Brown, who works with our middle schools in the Northern Palm Beach area. On behalf of Superintendent Dr. Donald Fenoy and the entire school board, again, welcome to tonight's virtual town hall. And so we're going to get started at this point. So I first want to review the purpose of tonight's meeting. The purpose is for us to highlight ongoing work, review proposed reopening plans for this upcoming school year, and to share some of the things that have been decided in our previous board meetings. The town halls have been organized by city, region, and/or language to better address the unique needs of Palm Beach County. This is an opportunity for us to hear directly from our constituents in the respective cities and to make sure that we are able to hear and tailor some of the needs and address some of your concerns. Town halls are open to all community members, district employees, parents, guardians, and students that are enrolled in district-operated schools. So our agenda for tonight, our agenda is first to go over our town hall format. We are going to highlight some of the ongoing work that's happening within our school district. We will review initial district-wide reopening efforts. We'll answer some of the questions that have been submitted. And I would like to thank you all for really participating and submitting questions. We got great feedback and questions from our community members. And you will have an opportunity to also submit additional feedback using Mentimeter, which is an online source that I will explain further on in the presentation. Okay, so this slide, we're going to focus on how to use Mentimeter. And you probably have used this at some point, but if not, I'm going to walk you through it very briefly before we go further in the agenda. And you'll notice on the slide, it provides some directions. The Mentimeter allows us to collect the feedback. So using your smartphone, we're asking you to please go to menti.com, menti.com. Enter the 6-digit code you see on your screen to access the questions that correspond to today's town hall. And right now, I'm just going to give everyone a moment to access that on your device and enter the code. And just to help out a little bit, our code is 141457. Okay, I'm going to go to our next slide, and we're going to use Mentimeter. We're going to try it out a little bit. Okay, so our question is, which option best identifies who you are? Are you a student, parent, or guardian, classroom teacher, school-based staff member, other staff member within the district, or community member? Okay. So I want to talk a little bit, we're going to highlight some of the efforts that we've been doing across the summer. And we've had many summer learning opportunities for our students. Our summer learning has included summer school. It also has included some targeted instruction for students who were performing below grade level. We also have been offering professional development and supports for our teachers. We recognize that the online platform is something that is somewhat new to some teachers, but others also want to get better. So as we work to strive for excellence, we have provided our teachers with professional development and additional supports around that work. We also have our summer reading sites, summer feeding sites that offer meals for our students and parents throughout this time that we have been out of school. And the other piece is addressing the digital divide and internet access. We've had the opportunity to provide our students with laptops throughout the district. And we also offer an opportunity for parents to be able to have those repaired as well. The electronic devices provided have been available to our students, and we actually dispersed them a couple times as soon as school was closed to make sure that parents were able to get them in the local communities. And then we also extended that disbursement to the district distribution site. So a little bit more about summer learning. Summer learning has been offered virtually. As I said, we offered the extended school year, our credit and course recovery, enrichment programs, and programs for our ELL students. And the targeted intervention program was offered for our elementary students. In addition to that, we have an extended essentials website that offers summer learning opportunities for our students who just want to increase their skill set in specific areas and to provide additional support for parents. And there are also some community programs that are offering face-to-face summer camps available throughout the district. And then this time we're going to share a little bit more about our summer learning. Excuse me, this website will access the summer learning for our parents. So this website allows our parents to be able to log in to see what opportunities are available to our students. And if you click on that at another time or use that link, it will provide parents with an ability to access many of the summer learning opportunities that I just shared. Professional development and supports. Distance learning for instructional staff members, including best practices for reaching unengaged students, have been happening throughout the summer and since we've been out of school. We also offer mental health supports for students related to COVID and providing students with opportunities to work through family situations that may have impacted them during these difficult times. We have conducted professional development on CDC cleanliness protocols, as well as our summer institutes, which have focused on African American studies, as well as Hispanic and Latino studies. Summer feeding sites. We're very proud of the work we've done to provide distribution of food on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and at some point it was on other days as well, to students and families throughout the school district. At this point, we are working very hard to continue those efforts, making sure that our students and families are receiving those additional supports. Addressing the digital divide. This is a snapshot. The diagram provides a display of how we've provided additional supports for students to help with the digital divide. Governments and nonprofit services have helped us connect families, providing Wi-Fi access. We've utilized community engagement efforts to provide students with an opportunity to log in at local sites or using the Wi-Fi network from local sites. We've provided news and information through our digital divide and through our online system. We've also been able to advertise employment opportunities, share about mental health and behavioral health services, and also provide telemedicine by allowing our families to access online tools and doctor resources. Our mission is to grant all residents, regardless of their zip code, reliable internet service in their neighborhoods, and we really worked hard within our communities to address the needs of our students. One of our challenges is to ensure equitable access to in-home broadband internet for all of our students to reach their potential and have them to be able to participate in our education activities as well as engage with their local community. Our solution to that is to be able to connect and collaborate with public and private partners to identify several solutions that will allow us to bridge that gap. We have set aside $10 million in our CARES Act funding to address the digital divide. So here are our strategies. So we have short-term and long-term strategies. Short-term have been the hotspots. We have utilized hotspots to provide for students who did not have access to Wi-Fi network or were unable to access in their local neighborhood. We have used internet sponsorships as well as fundraising efforts to extend our Wi-Fi services, and we certainly thank our partners for working in conjunction with us to do that. Long-term, we know that we need Wi-Fi extenders. We will need to establish scholarships for our students that provide internet service. We will continue to establish partnerships with our local municipalities and ensure that in subsidized housing, we offer the same Wi-Fi services. We're offering the same things to those students that we're offering all of our other students. And the goal of it all is to connect to our families, regardless of where they're living or the circumstance, that we want to make sure that we are staying connected with our learners. So reimagining school. This time frame is an opportunity for us to reimagine the way that school will look when we return in FY21 or 2021. And so the slides going forward are going to focus on that. I wanted you to be aware that we currently have a reopening task force, and the purpose of that task force is to present considerations, possibilities, implications for reopening within the upcoming school year. So the options that they have taken into account is an emphasis on the safety and security of our students, prioritizing equitable environments, ensuring high quality instruction, and adapting to sudden closures. So just a quick review, January, February, and March. During this time, we worked to respond to an emergency need. The school district moved quickly to put a crisis plan in place, establish the distance learning, distribute technology, and organize our feeding sites. This work took across functions, allowed work groups to make sure that we were able to adapt to the changing environment very quickly. During the same time, the state of Florida was continuing to monitor the spread of the virus, and we continue to stay abreast with the state of Florida as well as the United States and world. And we know as cases increased across the United States, the world, so did the state of Florida. So our 2021 school year instructional options. So our options are full-time in school. So that means back to in-person teaching, but prepared to go virtual if needed. Teachers will continue to incorporate the technology within their classrooms. And this option is what we are used to, and that our students have the option of accessing, whether it be they're iReady or they're using Khan Academy or other resources at home in addition to what's happening in the school building. The second option will be our blended model. Our blended model would be some days in person and some days virtual. It would include a Google Classroom. Teachers would flip instruction using Google Classroom and some recorded content. It would be an access would be equitable for face-to-face instruction. And then our third option would be distance learning. In distance learning, the students would use Google Classroom as we have been doing with Google Meeting daily, with a focus on quality instruction through professional development. So at this time, now that I've shared those options, what I like to do is get your input. Which instructional option would you most prefer based on your current home situation? Full-time in school, face-to-face while following social distancing guidelines, or blended model, a mix of face-to-face and distance learning, or distance learning exclusively as the third option? And I'll give you a moment to answer. Okay, so now I want to talk about what we've been doing in April, May, and what we're doing in June. The district is reimagining the reopening of schools based on the feedback that we have been collecting during parent and employee surveys, as well as these virtual town halls, as well as recommendations from health experts and guidance from the state of Florida Department of Education. I want to share with you that the creation of the reopening task force, as well as the superintendent's health advisory committee and these virtual town hall meetings are all going to be a part of making the final decision. And I would like to have you focus on a couple of dates. We have a public board workshop, which will allow us to share the survey results on July 1st, 2020. We have a reopening task force, which will share the options on July 8th, 2020, with the final decision being communicated to our communities on July 15th, 2020. I wanted to share with you two quick videos on what we've been doing in our efforts to prepare for the opening of school. Of course, as parents and community members, we're all concerned about the safety of our students and our staff during these challenging times. And I think these videos will give you a nice depiction of what we've been doing and the type of effort that's gone into considering our reopening and the protocols that are necessary. Okay, I hope that gave you a little bit of an idea of what we've been working on during this time and preparing our schools and our buses for our students. And I would definitely say that as a district employee, we miss our students and look forward to continuing to connect with them. At this time, I want to touch on the question and answer. Community members were encouraged to submit questions in advance of today's meeting. I'm going to now answer some of the pre-submitted questions as time permits. If there are any questions we don't get to, we'll post the answers to the district's website next week. And we received hundreds of questions in anticipation of tonight's town hall. We organized them into themes because many of the questions were around a certain theme, and we definitely wanted to respond. And we will pass along any feedback to the reopening task force from these questions that have been submitted, and they were coming in right up until today, the time this meeting started. I want to bring your attention to the fact that the answers that I'll be sharing tonight are just based on what we know right now today. And when we're dealing with emergencies, of course, these are times when, if events change, then the answers to these questions may change. But right now, today, these would be the answers. Things have changed quite rapidly over the last several weeks, and they remain fluid. And I suspect that that will continue for quite some time. Now that I want to dive into the major themes that were submitted in terms of the questions. The first theme was related to health and the data that we are receiving, or how current COVID data is being used by the district to make decisions. So with that, I want to share, the superintendent created a health advisory committee, and that committee is comprised of local and state professionals, medical and health professionals that provide feedback and best practices related to CDC guidelines to the superintendent as well as the district. Their expertise guides our decision-making and will be a part of the reopening of schools, and they will continue to advise the superintendent throughout the school year and as we begin school. This will allow us to ensure that our students are in the safest environments possible, and that we are continuing to look at real-time data in terms of making decisions about our district-operated schools. The second theme was about parent guardians wanted to know on the reopening of schools that the school district conducted. So the parent guardian feedback collected, this question is kind of about the surveys. So the parent guardian feedback collected from the surveys, as well as feedback collected from the district employee surveys, and this week's virtual town halls will be used to inform decisions related to final reopening plans. But I want to remind you, everyone watching, that we will share these findings and surveys at the upcoming board workshop on July 1st, 2020. And that was one of the dates I previously shared. It's also important to note that the recommendations from the health and medical professionals, as well as guidance from the Florida Department of Education, the governor, and the U.S. Department of Education will factor into the district's decision on reopening of schools. I think the important takeaway is that the safety and well-being of our students and our staff will continue to be our top priorities in this work. Theme 3 was related to distance learning and any anticipated changes for the upcoming school year. As mentioned earlier, during this town hall, district staff have engaged in professional development opportunities focused on distance learning, as well as strategies for working with unengaged learners, which is one of our important topics. We will continue to provide ongoing professional development to our instructional staff members to help them build their skill set with distance learning. If it's determined that schools can't reopen based on a combination of multiple factors, we know a serious outbreak can happen. So it is important that we continue these professional development opportunities, utilizing our district teams as well as district teams to help with the distance learning, the production of lessons, as well as teacher presentation, and that will continue. And then the fourth theme was, when is school going to start? Will it remain August 10th? And at this time, school is slated to open on August 10th. But again, we are using feedback from the surveys as well as our virtual town halls to provide input on the opening of school. But please be advised that we also have to take into consideration any information or any direction that comes by way of our Florida Department of Education, as well as our governor, or from the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education. Now, at this time, I want to give you an opportunity to provide any additional feedback as it relates to the opening of schools. If you use the menti.com one final time to share any feedback you have that you want to share with me, I would appreciate that. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to submit any additional feedback they would like to share with myself, Dr. Robinson, as well as Mrs. McQuinn at this time. And at this time, I'd like to share additional, if you would like to share additional feedback or you have additional questions, I would encourage you to utilize the email address provided on this slide. I welcome your feedback, your comments. We are definitely looking at everything that is being submitted from our parents and our community members, and I encourage you to continue to do so. I would like to thank our city officials for joining us tonight. I would like to thank our parents, staff members, and community for being a part of tonight's virtual town hall. And I would like to, again, thank our board members, Mrs. Barbara McQuinn and Dr. Deborah Robinson, for being a part of tonight's virtual town hall meeting for the cities of Lake Park, North Palm Beach, Jupiter, and Palm Beach Gardens. Again, thank you for joining us tonight.